On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, Claire is young, blonde, and pissed off.
And it opens a cannon of worms. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk about season 12, episode 16, Ladies Drink Free.
When the fuck has ladies, I don't trust a free drink. I mean, unless sometimes like bartenders give me like buybacks. That's one thing. But free drink usually means there's going to be drugs or something in it.
I mean, it's not always great. Like, I don't know. I think I distinctly remember a bar where a bartender would, like, if you flashed, you'd get a drink. But, like, that seems not really free then.
Bartenders are different. Yeah, I mean, I guess...
That's a transaction.
I just don't feel comfortable.
That's a transaction.
Yeah, I don't know if I just feel comfortable in a place where only people, like, women are the only ones that get to drink for free. I don't know. Yeah. What are you trying to do to me? That's pretty much I'm just like, my spidey senses are up and I'm like, you want to get me drunk and hurt me. That's pretty much what I think is going to happen.
No, they just want women in the bar so that men will come into the bar. That's all it is. But
and they want us to
weird.
Be drunk and vulnerable.
Oh.
Anyways, what have you been up to? Speaking of being drunk and vulnerable.
Weirdly, that's not been what I was up to, but I mean, I kind of went. No. Yeah, I went and
it's been so long.
I know. We're recording off schedule, guys. Yeah, so I have gone and watched the elementary school version. It's called Lion King Kids Play. Because my amazing niece was in it. So I got to watch sixth graders do the Lion King. By the way, if you didn't know, the Lion King Kids Play is only 40 minutes long. And guess what? They hit all the plot points. They've got the major songs. It kind of works. I was surprised that I was like, 40 minutes. There's no, yeah, it worked. So there you go. That's your hot tidbit for the day. Also,
so what you're saying is that the Lion King is too long.
I mean, I'm not saying it's too long. I'm just saying you can definitely get through it in 40
You're like, you could get through it in 40 minutes. Like, you don't need the rest of it. Like, there was just way too much Pumbaa and Simba.
Timon and Pumbaa and Simba and Nala as your... But, it was a very cute production, and I won't make fun of children in a play. It was just
that's kind of... Yeah.
It was very cute and sweet, and they all worked very hard on it, and it was... really cute watching them all their animal costumes running around.
Up, then we have to talk about it.
It's just like it's just an awkward age. It's a very awkward age.
Yeah, but there was just like a Timmy who Timmy fell off the stage.
No, it wasn't that. It was just like some like little audio challenges because it's an elementary school where somebody's microphone didn't get turned off, and it was a lot of in one of the microphones as everybody's running around, and but they had really cute costumes and they did a lovely job. But anyways, that's elementary. That was my excitement. It was family activities, and I've eaten at Chili's way too many times in the last 3 months.
Do they sell those costumes? Or do they make them? Because it was
a combination. Some of them were on loan and they had to return to school, and some of the kids you could tell made their own.
No, I was just thinking, like, man, like that's just like how much of a grift is Disney doing off of this, right? Because not only are they licensing the play, then they can also get money off of the costumes if parents are buying them.
Oh, cool fun fact though is that the school district, the high school level, has a cosmetology program, so they brought in those students to do the kids' makeup.
That's adorable,
isn't it? Isn't that cool? So anyways, fun things that happened in the world, I guess. Yeah, that's my excitement, I guess. I don't know. And saw a little new healthy med spa place where I learned about what they can do with ozone these days, and I'm out on all of it.
Well, it's really sad that we are at that point in Spaceballs where we are just like sucking up oxygen in like whatever way we can.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put ozone in any opening apparently. But yeah, so I don't know. That's about it. How about you, Liz?
I finally got to go on the aerial apparatus called the flying pole. And I've been wanting to get on one of those since I saw somebody fly around and throw her butt in the air on it. And yeah, it hurt as much as I thought it was going to. I learned how to climb it. And also, it's very different than the normal. So for those of you who don't know, there's more than one kind of pole in the world. There is a stripper pole. I'm just going to call it that because that's what it is. There's a stripper pole, the kind that you see in a strip club or at a pole studio. And those are typically like in the ground and in the ceiling and spin in a circle and are made of metal. But the aerial pole is made of silicone. Is it silicone or silicon? I always get this fucked up. Silicone? I don't know. Made out of the rubber shit. And instead of being attached to the floor and to it's hanging from the ceiling from like a hook. So you can make it go off the floor. You can do all sorts of fun little spins and stuff on it. But when you climb it, even though you have clothes on, you climb it with your feet and your shins. So it's just you're just rubbing your skin up and down that rubber, and it's just scraping off your skin and bruising it. And then I got a demo of someone who was doing an elbow hook where they were like hanging onto the pole with just their elbows and trying to make their body straight as it like went around in a circle. I didn't do that, but he was very close to accomplishing it. But
damn.
But so now I almost all of the aerial apparatuses that I want to try. Like I have not done flying trapeze. I've done static trapeze and it makes me vomit. But I do want to do the flying trapeze at some point. I know some gyms here my gym does it, but it's I think I want to go to another gym to do it. I don't want my gym to see me do it. Like there's a place in Vegas that has got like the huge nets and everything.
The big ones, like circus style.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just saying you want to run away to the circus? I mean, that's really what this comes down to.
I mean, I already know lots of people who do that, so. I am running away to play with circus people in a couple of weeks. So
you are.
Yeah, no, that's just what it's, if you're going to spend, what are you going to do in your spare time, right? It's better than watching TV.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's what I've been up
to. Unless you're watching Supernatural with us.
I mean, watch that show and watch it with us, and then like and subscribe, and then go watch things on our YouTube. And if you haven't been to our YouTube, you should go and check it out. All of our episodes actually for this season we haven't been promoting it, but all of the episodes this season all have video edits on there, and all the lores have got their own little video thing too. So go like those and go watch them. I put some effort into some of them, and they're funny.
Yeah, so they are.
All right, and there's no news really on the Padalecki Oracles front. They're just promoting The Boys, which is good. That's going to be coming out soon, and kind of he keeps pitching Vought Rising will be probably 27, but it's in production. Okay. So, that will happen. So. Let's talk about this episode. Ladies Drink Free. And it was episode 16 of season 12, and it first aired March 30th, 2017. And it was directed by Amin Kadarali. And this was his first episode directing for Supernatural. He'll direct some more. And so from his IMDb page, so it says after his Disney ABC directing fellowship, resulting in his first episodic directing opportunity, Private Practice, Amin went on to direct multiple episodes of Supernatural, The Resident, Grey's Anatomy, and Walker. In addition, he's directed TNT's Animal Kingdom and the CW's Charmed. Is Animal Kingdom about animals? It's not, is it? It's probably. Is it like about real animals?
I think so.
Okay, cool. The 100 and the Winchesters. And he's also written romantic comedies like Netflix's Holiday Calendar, Lifetime's Grounded for Christmas, which he also directed, Open by Christmas for Hallmark, and GAC's A Kind-Hearted Christmas, A Lot Like Christmas, and Aurora Christmas.
Okay.
He also wrote and is attached to direct Holly Bolly Christmas for Lifetime this summer. I think he already did that. That seems like an old
Interesting.
one. Yeah. Since 2023, he's been directing a filmmaking class for incarcerated men at San Quentin prison, which he finds extremely fulfilling. I think that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was written by Meredith Glenn, and she directed. This season she has already written episode 5, the one you've been waiting for, and episode 11 regarding Dean. So she is a return writer for this season. So, all right, in our recap, Claire. She promised not to hunt like a dumbass. Then werewolves, British men of letters, thirsty for Dean, who caved to Sam. That's our recap.
Yes. And we open at the Lucky Badger Ale House, where a chick is leaving. We find out later her name is Hayden. But she is leaving, and she is texting about how she is busted. She's texting saying that she's totally studying at her friend's house, but we find out her brother, Ben, is there, has busted her for lying about this. And so he walks her through the awkward path in the woods where she offers to sneak him back into the bar with her. So obviously they're underage. And then mocks him for not having a car. And he's like, Mom's doing her best for us. You need to stop it and let's go home. But there's a noise in the woods. And he's like, well, duh, it's the woods. There's animals, which is fair. Except that she's like, have you ever seen a horror movie? And he's like, I'm going to wander off in the woods on my own to prove to you that it's safe, because that seems like a great idea. And she is calling out to him and is texting that calls him a sucker, and texts her friend that she's going to go back to the bar. However, there is a scream, and he runs and finds her bloody and unconscious. And as he is calling for help, we see a dude in a mask who rips his heart out. This is quite the intro. But yeah. So, all right. So we don't really know what's going on. We know for sure Ben, brother, is dead and chick is bloody on the ground. And we cut and go to Sam and Dean at the British Men of Letters compound, where Dean is pissed, sitting around waiting to report for duty right as Mick enters and is talking about how hard it is to emotionally handle what happened there to his team. But he has a report of an animal attack in Michigan. And so, anyways, Hayden's in the hospital. So we know she's alive. But the brother's missing his heart. So they all know it's werewolves. But they don't usually leave survivors. And Mick's going to brag about his extensive research and knowledge of I can't say it now.
Lycanthropy. So he learned lycanthropy at Kendrick School, where the British Men of Letters train their operatives. And it has the largest collection of occult lore in the world. And Sam's nerd cool would be me. I want to go there, please. I would make the highest marks, but they would eventually kick me out for being anti-authoritarian. So Mick tries to show that he knows things. Last night was a full moon, so we are looking for a pureblood.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to tag along with Sam and Dean on this hunt. And Sam's like, I don't know about that. I don't think this is a great idea. And he's like, no, I need to come with you because I used to have like this great team, but obviously I need to learn how to do field work. And Dean's like, absolutely no, this is not going to work. But because, you just can't learn hunting. It's you just get flannel.
Yeah, so him and Sam go off to talk. And while him and Sam are talking, Dean has some disturbing things about what being a hunter it means. And that includes that you have to have a flannel and a gun. And that you get good fast or you get dead faster, which is why everyone who hunts with you is dead? Maybe you should think about that, Dean, as you're saying this out loud.
Yeah, but not great.
It's
not a great plan.
Yeah, but Sam argues for the fact that Mick can get better, and Dean finally caves, but is going to make Sam be his babysitter. So we transition to In Baby, where Mick has a podcast about Martin Luther playing, which much to Dean's delight. And they go on to say that monks like Martin Luther were some of the earliest hunters, and he wrote parts of the book that Sam is reading in the car by flashlight.
Yeah. And so Sam and Mick are all about it. And Dean is super not all about it. And they start talking about different methods to kill werewolves on the way. And apparently Britain has not had a werewolf attack since the 1920s.
Yep. They rooted them out, bitten and pure blood alike. And here we go. Here are the moral problems that we have been talking about ever since we brought up Nourishment of Letters. And Sam finally is on not all werewolves are monsters, right? Which you could have brought up with the vamps. But he brings up that he's got a friend, and we all know his friend is Garth, who just eats beef hearts now. And we learn quickly that Mick is on team kill them all. Monsters don't stop being monsters, kill them all.
Yeah. And he's like, it's their fundamental part of who they are is to kill. Blah. And so they pull up at the Wild Elk Lodge, which is much fancier than Sam and Dean typically stay at by a long shot.
It is, and it's really not. And they're kind of like thrown off about this, and Mick is like, "I know it's only 3 stars," and he booked them all in suites. And the boys are just like, "What? We get separate rooms. There's going to be little bottles of shampoo and clean towels, not like one dirty towel and like
they have to share
that they have to share. That's like got a stain on it."
Yeah,
you know, those are the motels they're staying in. So. Yeah. Dean starts stealing mints as soon as he walks into the door, and apparently that was all an Ackles improv.
That's funny. I like that. Well, we see them come down in the morning, and Dean's like, "I am ruined. There's chocolate. There's a pool. There's pillows. What the fuck?" And Sam's like, "Wait, you don't even have a swimsuit." And Dean's like, "Yeah, I know." So.
Yeah, but Sam was having a good time reading more of Mick's lore books, which I would be doing too. Yeah. And Sam found out in the 30s that they were working on some blood therapy to help cure werewolves. But Mick comes out right as they're talking about this and is just like, well, it was actually plasma and it's useless. It didn't work.
Right. So, but he wants to know how they slept. And Dean is not going to give Mick the satisfaction of knowing how lovely this hotel experience was. So he says that he slept better in Baby. But.
Yeah, and poor Mick is not happy about that. He's kind of butthurt. And so we go from there to the hospital. And this is the hospital where Hayden is. And the 3 of them I feel like this is a lot. It's going to happen more than once this episode, but I feel like a lot of people are approaching things. Yeah. And these situations doesn't call for that. Like 3 people going into a small hospital room is a lot. So
that's a lot.
They tell Mick to hang back anyways, is they're like, you don't know how to talk to a grieving family.
Yeah, he doesn't have the field experience, so it kind of makes sense. But they're going to go in and talk to Mom. And it's Agents McVie and Fleetwood. We're getting Fleetwood Whack. Fleetwood
Whack.
Well, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure there has been a cover band called Fleetwood Whack. If there hasn't, someone should be.
Yeah, they're a Fleetwood Mac reference here. And they're just like, oh, we want to ask her questions. We know she's asleep right now. Mom's just like, nah, GTFO. No.
Good for you.
No.
Way to stand up for your kid. And like, she's saying, like, no, you can't talk to my daughter. But Mick comes in as Dr. Buckingham, who is also...
Which is not a reference to UK, like Buckingham Palace. It's another Fleetwood Mac reference.
Correct.
Just saying. My first thought was
I can see the Buckingham Palace too.
Just saying. So, all right. So Dean is like, okay, he's a quick study. And so Mick is able to convince the mom and Sam Dean all to step out of the room for a minute. And he starts checking out Hayden's wounds. While this is happening, we've got Mom out in the hall crying about how,
the Bigfoot truthers have been reaching out to her. And I do love that term for them. And they're like, look, some girl barely as old as Hayden came by and she said she was fit with Fish and Wildlife and she was blonde with a bad attitude and she gave them her card.
For real. And so while all this is going on, so obviously they know that it's probably Claire, but while this is going on, Mick has found a bite wound on Hayden's body. So he lies to her mom and says that her wounds are healing, and mom goes back in. And then he lies to Sam and Dean and says, oh yeah, there's no bites, it's fine.
That is also suspicious. Why are you lying to them?
So sus. And then we cut to the gas and sip where Claire is.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry. There's a line. So when they're trying to figure out about the Fish and Wildlife Service, though, and Dean says, young, blonde, and pissed off, then that would be my next album if I was younger.
Young, blonde, and pissed off.
Young, blonde, and pissed off. Right now it's just like, middle-aged blonde and pissed off. All right. Okay. So down to the gas and sip.
Yeah. And Claire is reading a text from Jody and basically checking in with her and says, go Badgers, ? So the implication is that Claire's supposed to be looking at colleges. But her burner phone rings and she answers it very quickly as Agent Beatrice Quimby. And
Claire.
We've got a fake Canadian accent going on, talking about a bear the size of a tank, and she immediately knows that it is Dean.
He wanted his picnic basket.
And so we then cut to Sam, Dean, Claire, and Mick at a bar where Mick is going to get everyone beers.
And he introduces himself as Men of Letters British. And we're going to continue our sagas of British men of letters because it's time for lore. And as we said this season, British Men of Letters is very similar to an occult secret society from Victorian London known as the Golden Dawn. And we're actually finally going to talk about the Golden Dawn today. And so we're going to start talking about them. And the main sources are Women of the Golden Dawn by Mary K. Greer and The Victorian Occultism and the Making of Modern Magic by Alison Butler. Other sources will be in the show notes. So, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was founded in Victorian England at a time when the occult was having a moment. Spiritualism remained popular, and Blavatsky's Theosophist movement was causing a stir. Hundreds of men and women would be initiated into the order from 1888 to 1901 at 5 separate temples. They had temples they built around fucking England. I just think that's insane. Okay. Among those would be the day's celebrities like William Butler Yeats and the actress Maud Gunn. In 1898, the Beast Aleister Crowley would join their ranks. And we're going to start off with the 3 founders who came from Freemason and Rosicrucian backgrounds, all belonging to the Societas Rosicrucian in Anglia, SRIA, and much of the organizations and rituals can be attributed to that organization. It all begins, though, with the cipher manuscripts, a collection of 56 folios of encoded writings. William Wynne Westcott would claim to have received the ciphers from the Reverend A.F.A. Woodford, another Mason, and that they had once belonged to the famous French occultist Eliphas Levi. The ciphers were coded using a cryptogram based on the Polygraphia, which is also the source of the witches' alphabet. Additionally, among the pages of the ciphers, Westcott said he found the address of Fraulein Anna Sprengel of Stuttgart, a place rich with Rosicrucian history. The note said Sprengel was Sapiens Dominabitur Astris, or the wise among the stars, and a chief among the members of the Goldene Dämmerung, or Golden Dawn. He also said that he wrote to this Anna, and she said that he, William Robert Woodman, and Samuel Mathers were granted the right to head the British version of that order. However, weeks before he received the letter from Anna Sprengel, on October 4th, 1887, Westcott wrote a letter to Samuel Mathers, who we'll be calling McGregor, asking if he would become a co-chief with one other person and himself. Westcott proposed that he could translate the ciphers he found. Then McGregor could turn it into a set of rituals, and he would pay him to do this. So there's a little bit about, so maybe that there was a little bit of a on the founding of this order, right? Mm-hmm. And a little bit about the 3 guys who founded this, the 3 chiefs of the Golden Dawn. I'm going to start with the one we know the least about because he exits the story really quickly, and that is William Robert Woodman. He studied medicine and was a member of the SIRA and would become Supreme Magus in 1878. We know he was into Kabbalah, astrology, and alchemy, but his association with the Theosophists is not really known. We don't know what other occult organizations he was hanging out with besides Masons, basically. So he died shortly after the order was founded, and while there are references to manuscripts he wrote, they've never been found. And he may have just been chosen as a chief because of his status within the Masons and his seniority in older occult circles. William Wynne Westcott was born in Warwickshire in 1848. He was raised by his uncle after his parents died young, and like his uncle, he studied medicine. So he was appointed coroner for Northeast London in 1881. Medicine wasn't his only passion, though, and he sequestered himself for a couple of years to study Kabbalistic philosophy and Hermetics and alchemical and Rosicrucian writings. He joined the SIRA in the 1880s and would become the Supreme Magus from 1891 to 1925. He was active in the Victorian occult societies, presenting lectures to the Theosophical Society and belonging to Anna Kingsford's Western Esoteric Hermetic Society. That knowledge would be put to use in formulating his new order. And all the order was a brainchild of Westcott. MacGregor Mathers is responsible for its rituals. MacGregor's birth name was Samuel Little Mathers. MacGregor he added later. He would claim that he was a Highlander and that he came from the MacGregor clan. Maybe not so true, but his interest in secret handshakes first emerged when he joined the Freemasons at 23, where he achieved the level of Master Mason. That's okay.
Sorry, he's really into secret handshakes. He was a Master Mason.
Exactly.
Sorry.
This is the first time he used Comte din Glastre and thus declared himself to be the MacGregor's line of Glenstray's line. He joined the SIRA at the invitation of Westcott and Woodman. MacGregor was highly influenced by Anna Kingsford. He was very fond of her, and he was also familiar with the Theosophists. He was really into fitness. He was a boxer. He was a fencer. He was also into military stuff, and he thought that every occultist should be in excellent physical condition. So we'll learn more about the chiefs as we go through this, but back to the ciphers. So there were not enough rituals in the original ciphers, and MacGregor was tasked with creating more. These would become the order's foundation, and the concept of synthesis, the core tradition it drew upon, and the foundation manuscripts were all adopted or borrowed. So the idea of synthesis is that you're taking little bits of different things and then turning it into one, or as I call it, stealing. But so the material centered on a scholarly study of symbols or rituals that would help them attain a higher level of spiritual being through natural magic. The magic structure echoed the Renaissance magic, and influences included ancient religion Egypt, the ancient Egyptian religion, the Kabbalah, Christianity, Freemasonry, paganism, theurgy, alchemy, early modern grimoires, and Enochian magic, such as that recorded by the early modern occultist John Dee, which is why we finally did John Dee's story last episode. So we'll see all the stuff that I've been doing this season, how it all kind of comes in here. We've got Anna Kingsford coming in. We've got, now we've got the Enochian magic. We've got the Rosicrucians. They're all combining into this one giant order. They're synthesizing. They are synthesizing. So the goal for the magician was you wanted the magician to grow spiritually and in magical ability, usually by working in accordance with the universal will. So they're really into the idea of making things happen with this concept of will. Two goddesses sit at the order's symbolic center, Isis, the Egyptian goddess of magic and nature, and Urania, the Greek muse of astronomy. But this was it was not a place of worship, right? Members might invoke deities, but worshiping and sacrificing to them was not the main point. The order also did not like mesmerism or hypnotism, wherein a person would be seen to act as like a passive medium, separating the individual from the other realm. And they really disliked spiritualists who did that. The Golden Dawn required in their initial pledge that no one give up their will to another, nor allow themselves to be hypnotized, which I think you're just kind of losing out on some fun. Like sometimes you just want to turn Chuck into a chicken, right?
Well, but if you're also, if your whole core focus is all about will, then you can't give up your will. So, I guess at least there's some consistency.
At least there's consistency, but you're just, like I said, you're losing out on some fun.
Yeah.
So the Golden Dawn had 3 orders. The first order, the Outer Order, was for teachings from the cipher manuscript. MacGregor came up with the idea of the second Inner Order, which he named the Ruby Rose and the Cross of Gold, and it was formed in 1891. Members are advanced through a series of grades, each with its own initiation ceremony based on the Kabbalistic tree of life. The first 4 levels were about intellectual development. Initiates memorize the Hebrew alphabet, the structure of the Kabbalistic tree of life, and astrological glyphs, terms, and techniques. The only personal ritual practice was for protection, and that was the ritual of the pentagram. The Golden Dawn used a number of tools and techniques that had to be carefully learned, including tarot, geomancy, astrology, and other methods for spiritual development. And the first order was divided into 4 grades characterized by the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. They kept the dinosaur names from the SRA for the levels. So there were Zelator, Theorocus, Practicus, and Philosophus. And the dinosaurs. Yeah. So once you passed a series of written and oral exams, you could be initiated into the second order. There, magicians create their own rituals. Rituals were ceremonial magic, which could be of 3 types. Initiation, where a candidate is presented to a particular kind of force meant to stimulate the psychic centers. Evocation, where forces are contacted and then their energies focused on a purpose. And invocation, where one is inviting a deity or a spirit in. And according to Mary Greer, the steps of the ritual symbolically act out what is taking place in the spiritual or cosmic realm. First, a sacred circle is created in which the officers allow the forces to be channeled through them while the Hierophant directs these energies. 2, the ritual objects are consecrated. No, I have concentrated, but I have a feeling it's probably should be consecrated because they're made sacred. So I may have a typo here. So I'm going to say the ritual objects are consecrated and made sacred so that they become the thing that they symbolize. Third, the god forces or spiritual beings are then evoked from the astro into the material plane. Fourth, finally, the astro forces are dispersed and the ceremonial energy is closed down. So that was how they would make a ritual. So basically you do a circle and then you channel some energy, then you consecrate some objects, you make them sacred, then god forces, whoever, are invoked and they come down and help you. And then you've got to disperse all the forces when you go. Yep. Okay. So no distinction was made between monotheism, polytheism, and pantheism. The spiritual plane participants could include any being from Osiris, Isis, Anubis, Sophia, the Messiah, Christian Rosenkreuz, Solomon, the angels, the archangels, Hermes, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, sylphs, gnomes, undine, and salamanders, and eventually the entire Celtic pantheon of magic.
That's quite a spread.
Well,
I definitely played the theme song for David the Gnome for Dave the other day, too.
I appreciate that you could call on gnomes for help. I mean, I told you to call on gnomes the other day when you lost the call.
That's what I played. That's what I played the theme song for David the Gnome for Dave.
Yeah, but basically they're covering all their bases. And like I said, I think also it's kind of the idea that all these deities, whatever pantheon they are, they're all kind of focusing the same thing, and it's just different aspects of it depending on. But your real purpose, the real thing is about your will, right? That's right. So the second order could also recommend new inductees. MacGregor claimed the teachings came from personal communications he had with the secret chiefs of the third order that nobody ever gets high enough to meet. Because also, since that happened and he was the one who made all the rituals and he's the one who's talking to the secret chiefs, this kind of made him the de facto leader of the order. And so we're going to stop here. But there's much more Golden Dawn to come, including the initiation rites, the time they had a magical showdown in the streets of London. There are many court cases and much more. The magical showdown.
I'm snapping my fingers because it's like you just like the West Side Story.
It is like the West Side Story, but with magicians. And British magicians at that, dressed in robes. All right, so I'm going to end with this theory, though, about the ciphers, because I kind of feel I have to. The authenticity of the ciphers was in question from the moment Westcott mentioned them. It is most likely that Westcott used foreign writing paper to counterfeit the manuscripts, enlisting the help of a German employee to make the contents. No attempt to verify the existence of Anna Springle has ever been successful. Westcott probably fabricated her to give the Golden Dawn a tradition and credentials to come from.
Wow.
So that is the beginning of the Golden Dawn.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And we'll also find out how this order, so I'm thinking of one thing everybody always says this, and I guess I should have, but one of the reasons this order becomes so cool is because they also allow women in, which was unusual because Masons, we have been anti-girls for a long time. No girl club. It was a boys club. Allowed. We can't learn secret handshakes because we have boobs or something. Rude. I don't know why I can't learn your secret handshake, Chuck, but
so rude.
But the women really are the ones who end up running the show for most of this, and I think that's pretty fascinating. Even though we have 3 secret chiefs that are founders, it's really going to be. So we get to see what happens when you let women into an all boys club, and they get to learn magic. So it's fun. All right. So let's go back to our Elk Lodge where Dean is denying Claire her earned beer.
Yeah. Nope.
You bummer.
Yeah. But she does know, she knows that Hayden lied about where she was and that she goes to this dive bar. And she refers to a scumbag with a tribal tattoo and being grabby. And we're all irritated by everything about that statement because, yeah, as you would be. And Dean's extra pissed when he hears the word grabby. So, Mick's like, oh, okay, cool story. Well, I need to go submit my report. Good night. And just leaves them. Real awkward. And Claire is like, okay, that's awkward. And Dean's like, oh yeah, he's besties with Sam. They're nerd soulmates. And so Sam's like, okay, we're going to change the subject. And I'm going to ask you how Jody's doing, Claire, because you're hunting and you're not fucking supposed to be.
Well, you're not supposed to be hunting alone. Right? Yeah, why are you alone? And she says, Jody's busy with sheriff stuff. Let's go to the morgue.
Yeah. And Sam's like, no, the morgue's not open. And when was the last time you ate, ma'am? Have a real meal, not gas station food. So they tell her to order whatever the fuck she wants on Mixed tab, basically. So anyways, she gets excited. And then we cut back to the hospital.
And at first at the hospital, we can also see the moon is out.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean a butt. I mean, the moon's out. And I could mean a butt. You don't know. So the mom goes in there and she kisses Hayden on the forehead and she walks out.
Yeah. Mick is dressed as a doctor again and he walks in, but he also has a giant syringe in his hand now. And he looks at Hayden. The clouds move. The full moon shines upon her and she transforms into a werewolf and attacks him. And then he stabs her with a syringe and she falls back and she changes back and she heals and then she dies.
Yeah, we assume she dies because the mom comes running, the heart monitors go off and then her mom comes running and screaming.
And Mick got scratched really bad, and he just leaves and sneaks out. But so the next day, Sam and Dean and Claire are at the hospital, and Hayden is dead.
And Mick is there too. Again, this is a lot of people in a room.
It's a lot. And the mom had given their doctor their number to this doctor that called them, and he's just really confused. But she's having her autopsy tomorrow. But her wounds are all gone. Weird.
All of her defensive wounds are gone. Maybe she had a heart attack, which is just weird at her age. So they try and figure out what happens, right? After the doctor leaves. And Sam posits that she turned.
Yeah, and she had to have turned for everything to have healed. But Dean's like, well, that's real weird since Mick told us there was no fucking bite.
And maybe, honestly, this one, I would probably be like, you know what, I can give you this. Maybe you didn't, examine every part of the teenage girl.
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully you didn't, right? Right. So maybe there was a part that she was bitten that you couldn't see. I would give him a pass on, I would not give him as much shit as Dean. I mean, I would if I knew what happened, but Dean doesn't know that, right?
Correct.
So Dean gives him all that shit. Claire points out that the bad guy is still out there, right? And there's so why would the bad guy let a werewolf go? Let someone they were attacking go? They normally don't do that.
Yeah. So they're going to split up and they're going to go try to figure this out. So Sam and Claire are going to go to the high school to try to investigate what was going on with Hayden at the time. And Dean and Mick are going to go to the bar.
Shocking.
Yeah, because of course they are. But Sam and Claire, he's in the car, in her car, and he is like, "How are things going? Because your car is full of disgusting gas station wrappers, ma'am. Like full of them." And she's like, "It's fine. Also, kids aren't going to talk to you, so you have to stay in the car, Sam. I'm going to go talk to teenagers because you're an old skeezer."
Yes, and it does make sense, right? She's like, who are they going to talk to? That you look creepy. So she goes into the high school, and we cut to the bar. And Mick apologizes and says he won't fuck up again, but he can't open the door because of where his arm got fucked up, and he blames carpal tunnel.
Yeah. So they get to the bartender and they show him a picture of Hayden, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't know who she is." And Dean's like, "Whatever. You're obviously serving underage girls. So what's going on? Maybe she's got a thing with Connor," is what he says finally. And Connor is the other bartender, and he is our tribal neck tattoo guy. And Dean is not thrilled with him because he's going to be like, "Wait, what is up with you liking high school girls?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not like that. She's just stupid hot. Ew. Ew." But he was behind the bar the whole night is what he insists.
Yep. So. And then his story gets sketchy about what he did after work. And the way the Dean is going to go about this, he goes, "So what did you do last night, Mick?" And Mick's like, I wrote my report.
And he's like, yeah, and what else?" And Mick's like stumbling around and says that he also watched the Great British Bake Off. So this is Dean trying to demonstrate to Connor how easy it is to just tell what you did that night. But Connor insists that he went home and he doesn't know what happened to Hayden. So, yeah. They're gonna leave, but he decides to ask about the blonde girl. And he's calls her feisty. And then
he calls her a crazy bitch and said that she was a crazy bitch who threw a beer like him. And then girls like that snort, and Dean threatens him.
Yeah. Tells him I'll break his face.
As he should.
His face. So, Dean and Mick leave.
Break that dude's face. It's a very punchable face.
It really is.
So, outside
they go leave. They go to leave, and Dean calls out Mick about his shitty alibi that, like, I almost would have believed it. But, by the way, also, I know that 16-year-old fresh werewolf girls don't just die. So, WTF, you've been acting sketchy. And grabs his shoulder to demonstrate that he is injured. So, Mick's like, I did what needed to be done. Meh. Anyways, but he admits he injected her with silver nitrate after she attacked him because he has orders. Dean's like, you had a choice. And Mick's like, well, killing monsters is what we do. You're out there palling around with demons and witches. Ooh, but Dean gives it's not black and white out here. There's a case. You have to look at the case in front of you. And then he tells a story, and this is sad, and I don't like it.
Yeah, he talks about the fact there was a psychic Hig they met a few months ago, and she was out killing people because she was abused, and they gave her a second chance because it was the right thing to do. And then we get a flashback of Ketch killing her. And yeah, because that's what ended up happening with the British Men of Letters. And Mick's like, maybe this isn't the best analogy. Let's do something else. And we cut to the high school, where Claire points out that sitting on a car outside a high school makes you look like a creeper. And it does. It is not a good look for you, sir.
No. But she did find Hayden's BFF and found out that she was hooking up with an older dude who was very possessive and told her brother about this. So Sam's going to change subject and just ask what Jody thinks Claire is doing right now and why Jody thinks Claire is in Madison looking at colleges. And she's just like, I know I owe Jody, but when we tried to hunt together, Jody made me sit in the car. And Jody just wants me to be normal and go to nursing school like Alex, but that's not me. And Sam's like, did she say that? And Claire's like, she didn't have to. I'm just better off on my own. Everybody's happy. And he's like, no, you got to tell her the truth. And she gets mad. But there, she's just talking about how Sam and Dean dive bomb her life by pretending to care. And she doesn't want to be treated like a stupid kid anymore. So Sam tells her to stop acting like one.
Yeah, and she storms off. And she storms off and she goes down these wood trails, right? And she's
listening to Make Me Wanna Die by The Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, and she's got that on the beats that she took from her car earlier. And while she's walking through there is the guy in the mask. And she takes out her small knife. Why is your knife so small? And they
Very
fight.
small knife. And he fucking bites her.
Why did you not have something made out of silver, Claire? Like, you are hunting like a dumbass. Werewolves. You're hunting like a dumbass.
Yes, she is. You're fighting werewolves and you're just going to go storm off in the woods with your headphones on?
You have no situational awareness. You've got, like, I don't know. So, they fight. He growls and he pulls his mask up enough so that he can bite Claire. And he disappears. Claire's on the ground and Sam comes running up.
Yeah, he finds her and he's very upset, as expected. So Sam and Dean and Mick reconvene at the hotel with a very bandaged Claire, who is upset. And she's going through the transition. So she's like hot and they're like, oh, we need to cool her down. And Mick's like, no, you need to keep her warm. And Dean's pissed and yelling at Mick. And Sam tells Mick that, you killed a kid, so we're fucking done. Like, we're done. That's it. And Claire's like, wants to know how long she has. That's really what she's worried about. But Dean is going to give her a pep talk about how she can live like Garth. And that, look, if you get locked up a few nights a month, and otherwise you're just you. It's fine. It's fine. And she's like, no, I don't have that kind of self-control. I don't know. I can't risk hurting anyone. I would rather die. And so Sam's like, hey, Mick, tell me about this fucking top secret British men of letters blood therapy y'all tried. And he's like, it doesn't work. And Sam's like, in your studies, it worked in 1 out of 9. He's like, lab rats, though, or mice. And it was all experiments, but we only tried on one human and they died right away. So Claire's like, well, second time's a charm. But Dean is not into this. He is opposed completely. Claire's fighting like she's like, this is my life. I get all the votes. Period. And Dean and Sam agrees with her. And as pissed as Dean is, he kind of like lets it slide. And so Mick's like, okay, well, we need the blood from the wolf that bit her to do this. And their number one suspect is tribal tattoo dude at the bar. He's tied to both victims, and there we go. So Sam and Dean are going to go find him, and they're going to leave Mick alone with Claire. And basically, Sam's like, you trust this plan? And Dean's like, oh no, Mick ain't dumb enough to fuck around at this point. Yeah. So. Oh, Connor. Connor with his tribal tattoos is getting ambushed by Sam and Dean at the bar. And he might be a fucking douchebag, but he's not a werewolf.
He is human. And he doesn't react to the silver knife that they have because their knife is made out of silver, as it should be.
Yes, like Claire should have had.
So we go to the hotel where Mick is putting stuff in syringes, and Claire screams that her wound is burning. And so when she pulls off the bandage, it's healed. And so she knows that she's turning, and she goes with the gun on the table, and Mick grabs it, and she begs him to kill her, but she says that it's happening, and he points the gun at her.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. And yeah. Anyways, and he's like, I know who would do this, but basically he convinces her to calm down and not kill herself or have him kill her yet. That's where he can land.
Yep, and so he's going to restrain her and sedate her, and then when she wakes up, it'll all be over. And she really wants to call Jody, who's going to be so mad at her. And just as she's getting really upset about that, our masked guy breaks in, knocks out Mick. Claire breaks a vase over him, and he pulls off his mask to reveal that it's the first bartender, and he's got wolf teeth now. And he punches her out, and he drags her off.
Yes. And Sam and Dean come back, and they're like, what the fuck? happened here, Mick? And he's like, I know it's fucked up, but good news, I put a tracker on her. And they're kind of like, wait, what? But also, it's kind of helpful right now, so thanks. So we cut to the bartender's house, and this is Justin, for the record. And he is like, I had big plans for Hayden, but no, that got all fucked up. And Claire is all chained up in this kitchen, and he's talking about how being a wolf is like the greatest drug. And she says, eat me, teen wolf, which I think is funny. But basically what he kind of explains is by an accidental side effect of the British men of letters being so efficient is now he's turning more people. Is that like a good way of kind of explaining it?
No, he said the British men of letters came and took out 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they took him out. And so now they had to split up, but they weren't meant to be alone. So now
he's making more.
But I mean, he's not making up for the numbers that they took.
No.
And
he doesn't want to be alone.
He doesn't want to be alone. And most people don't live through the change anyways.
Yeah.
And he's a pure blood because he could turn before without the moon there. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's an indirect cause of the British men of letters being so efficient in all of their killings that now Claire got turned. That's my, like,
kind of
thing. So, anyways, he's like, I'm a nice guy. And she just calls him a clingy and insecure with mommy issues. Anyway.
You forgot that.
Or she says that. Who says that? Huh?
Nice guys who say that are clingy, insecure bitches with mommy issues. You forgot the bitches, and it was really important. You know, you got to get that bitch in there. You know,
yeah.
So, and especially because he's a dog, right? So
exactly.
he tries to get her to eat a heart, and he says that he knew when he saw her that he was just like him, that she was all alone. And this is where she's like, "It's wrong. I have a family, and they love me."
Yes. Oh, this is her having a little mini epiphany. But now her eyes change. And at this moment, Sam and Dean and Mick bust in. And as there's a big fight breaks out as Claire is changing. She is turning into a werewolf. And the dude, Justin, our main guy, our main werewolf, gets shot by Mick, which works out because then he can go collect his blood to try to make this magic. Not magic, it's not magic, but the whatever medicine to transform her back. Right? I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah. So they try and keep Claire at bay, and Sam has his backpack, and he's like, I'm going to fight you off with my backpack. And Dean's just like, I want to make she wanted this, right? And Dean's like, oh yeah, she did. And they're like, and so they jump Claire, and that backpack really works, and it keeps her away, and Dean shoots her up with blood. And then we all get to watch her struggle, and Dean can't handle it, and he goes outside.
It was very upsetting to watch. It looked like it was going to go poorly, and she collapses, and Dean gets called back in by Sam, and we all think she's dead.
Well, she's either asleep. She kind of looks like she fell asleep. She kind of looked like she died, and then Dean
she was convulsing. I thought she was dead.
Yeah, and then her nails go back to normal, and she opens up her eyes, and she's cured with fruit punch mouth.
And they tell her that she tells them that they look like crap, like Claire would. So we go back to our lodge, aka Fancy Hotel, and Sam and Dean and Mick are watching her get into her car. And Mick calls her a walking miracle. And Dean thanks him. And Mick's like, are we good? And Sam's like, not quite. But we'll give you a second chance. You just don't get a third. Okay. And then Claire comes up and she's like, anyway, so she makes a joke about craving a milk bone, but that basically that she knows that they're always there when she needs them, and that's what matters. Oh, look at Claire learning to care about her little fam. And so Sam's like, are you gonna tell Jody? And she's like, I don't know. But Dean's like, we got your back. So Claire does leave a voicemail for Jody. We hear her leave this, right? She was hunting and that she was alone. and that it's scary sometimes, but something that she does have to do on her own, that she's ready for it. But she wouldn't have been ready for it without Jodie as a mom.
Yeah, I mean, and then she tells Alex not to touch her stuff and blah blah. So, and she loves her, and Claire, you shouldn't be hunting alone. It's stupid.
Well, it's not great, but
no,
she
did
learn some lessons.
You're too young to be doing this. Obviously, you have a fucking tiny knife. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is how you get bitten. You're an idiot. It's not even safe for you just to be traveling alone as a woman. Like, as a 19-year-old woman, it is not safe for you to be traveling through this country, going into bars by yourself. She's like 18 or 19, right? Like, this is not... I'm sorry. It's just not safe. A serial killer is going to get you. That's how serial killers get you. I may have just finished American Predator, which is all about... I was going to say,
I'm like, whoa. You may have taken a leap here.
They look for vulnerable young women, okay, who are by themselves, who look, like, I don't know. I'm just saying it's just not safe for her to be doing the things that it's not a safe reality. She needs a partner.
I think that she is definitely would be better off with a partner and probably could make better choices. I don't think that the serial killer is the first thing that would come to mind.
You need to listen to American Predator and then you realize
there's not that many serial killers, but okay. It's a numbers game, ma'am.
It is a numbers game, and someday that number is going to run up, okay?
Oh, my God.
So if you do, like, how many... Anyways. So, beyond that, it's just honestly, it's not, though. Like, it's not traveling around the country this much by yourself, going into the places that she's going
Correct.
into.
She needs
and I'm not saying,
she's a backup for that. Yeah. And that's why Sam and Dean work well together. That's why other hunters always had a backup.
I mean, there are a lot of lone hunters, but it's very rare. Mary sometimes works alone. She'll say she'll work alone. And you kind of look, like Garth does alone. Like a lot of hunters do it alone. I'm just saying that you are better off especially as a young one, someone who is just learning and just...
Well, they all had the network before, like with Bobby too. So they always had a phone home option, right?
Yeah, I don't know. First. But anyways, I feel like Jodie would just be like, no, I don't want to hear that I helped you become doing this by yourself, right? That's...
Yeah.
I
hear
it. Yeah, so she's going to drive off.
To Real Wild Child by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
She is. I know someone who played in that song.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Humble brag. All right, so we're gonna... any of
we've got some cast notes. We've got some cast notes here.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
So we've got the mom, Mrs. Foster, was played by Miranda Fergan, and she's been in episodes of 4400, True Calling, Ugly Betty, Dexter, Bones, Magicians, a couple episodes of Charmed as well. And she's a car crash woman in White Noise. Julie in the film It Waits. She's an uncredited psychologist in Chappie. And Lynn as an ongoing character in the Aurora Teagarden Mysteries series, and Paula in the Day of the Dead series as a recurring character. Hayden was played by Abby Ross. She's been in episodes of Supergirl, Charmed, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She's young Emma in Once Upon a Time series, and Midge Klump in Riverdale. It's a recurring character. Our bartender werewolf is Justin, yes, and he's played by Matt Visser. He's been in episodes of The Order, funny enough, and Firefly Lane, and then he plays Joey Fatone in Brittany Ever After. Ben, the brother, who dies early on, is played by Jordan Burchett. He's been in episodes, a recurring character named Quinn in Heartland, and was John in To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Connor is the tribal tattoo dude. He's been in episodes of Battlestar Galactica, several episodes of Smallville. He was in Arrow, iZombie, and Flash, The Crossing, and he plays a production assistant in one episode of What We Do in Shadows.
Nice.
He's also a Skip in Dr. Dolittle 3 and Michaels in Shoresy as a regular character. And then our doctor was played by Manoj Soot, and he was Dinesh in the Wedding Season movie. It's a Netflix film. A high roller in the movie Rat Race, and Rajiv in Snowpiercer as a recurring character.
Cool.
Yeah. So I like Claire episodes as much as she drives me bonkers because teenagers are a pain in the ass.
Right.
That's my summary.
It's also interesting when we have a Claire episode without Cass, right? So
that's true.
There's no
that's true.
They didn't even call him, right?
Nope.
Which I think is
interesting.
An interesting why. Like I'm sure there's like
yeah,
TV
it probably
reasons. Like Misha wasn't on like scheduled to be in. Was only supposed to be in so many episodes or something. I don't know, but interesting that when she has a werewolf bite that they don't call Cass. Like, and don't even really mention him at all. Like, he is not brought up at all in this episode.
That is interesting. I wonder if they kind of left it where like she's cool with him, but kind of like, look, you're not my dad. I really don't really want this connection, man. But I don't know. It is odd that it's completely not even brought up. I mean, Jody's not really
they wouldn't
either.
have to deal with whether or not an angel could heal a werewolf wound?
Probably.
Because that's never been has that been discussed, whether or not that could happen? We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, we can't change him back. We assume that they can't change him back to human. I don't know.
But
that'd be a whole game changer. Because if you could just like vampires and werewolves could just be changed back.
Well, it's not changed back. It's a wound.
Right.
It's not, and before they fully turned, right?
Well, before they turned, yeah, that'd be the key.
Or like in vampires too, it'd be before they fully turned. But I guess it's in their blood. I don't know. I'm just taking the canon to a whole new place.
You have.
Mm-hmm.
But if mix injection could do it, why wouldn't an angel? I don't know. Whatever.
That's true. That is reverse. If it is reversible by plasma, and that's not even it wasn't even a spell. It was really, that was just more of a science medical thing, right? It was a blood it was a blood thing.
Yes. I don't know, man. They just didn't want to open that can of worms of canon.
Well,
it's a cannon of worms.
It's a cannon of worms, but
sorry.
I don't know. Your pun made me lose my thought. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just
so bad too.
Cannons are full of worms. Oh man. Okay, I think that means I'm done. All right. On that note, cheers.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.